Well, I finally finished Fallout, or at least me and Chauncey did, and it's been about a week since I'd say we finished it, and I've been thinking about it. I've been listening to some other reviews, some other channels, some of the heated debate about if it's good or not between and forth, while I just kind of ponder what it is what I just watched, and I think I'm ready to give some thoughts about it. So this isn't going to be one of my scripted out, thought fid, lots of visual anything. I think this is going to be a me talking to the camera, like an amateur review, just giving some thoughts. So I apologize if my brain goes everywhere and it kind of becomes already goop. But even though the last video didn't do very well in terms of my review stuff, I still kind of wanted to weigh in on it just because of all this debate about it I've seen, and just wanted to actually get my thoughts out there now that I finished this thing. And I think my overall thought for Fallout can best summed up with a single noise. That noise is meh. Pretty much everything that I didn't like about the first two episodes kind of exploded through the rest of them. My least favorite was 3, mostly because that was the probably most Maximus episode there was. It was just terrible. But overall, the show, the more I think about it, the less I like it. Right now, I'm at that, yeah. But the more I think about it, the more I start questioning things, and the more I'm like, you know what? I don't think I actually need to see season 2. For me, this is kind of like The Mandalorian. I liked the first season, yet I've never rewatched it. Didn't care for the second one that much, and it just made me not even care to watch the third. And I think that's what's going to happen here a lot too. I think with the initial water cooler hype, oh, it was so great from like Mandalorian season 1 to the shell of what it is now, I think it's going to happen with Fallout. I think second season's probably going to be bad, and people are going to go, you know what, that first season actually wasn't that great either. Because even though it visually still looks good, except for some of the CGI power armor and stuff, it looks good. The costumes look great. They nail the happy Pip Boy thing, and the performances are well done, and I really like the ghoul. But the writing, the dialogue, the choices, and the rest of the characters, I just didn't really care for. Hated Maximus, kept failing upward, which I guess is a very real life thing, as we all know, but he just would not get punished for making stupid decisions, and he was inconsistently dumb to smart about power armor and the Brotherhood to dumb again. In the power armor, he couldn't shoot for his life. Outside of it, he's headshotting cannibals on a bridge like it's nothing, and is super confident in his way around the world and what the world is. But as soon as he's with the Brotherhood, he's like dumb, doesn't know what the hell's going on, doesn't know what the Brotherhood is, doesn't think, I don't know, he's just naive. Makes dumb jokes about his dick not working or not knowing what his dick is. When, I mean, instinct tells you a lot. Brotherhood has girls that you can see, or whatever the fuck the friend was. And it just, I just hated him, his entire story. It was a joke. Everything he did was comedy, fail upward purposes. The Brotherhood was very powerful. I don't know why they needed cold fusion. Never explained what any of that shit was. Talk about how they need these artifacts, and you know they've got all the gas, ammo, food, shit, all the world. Their Brotherhood's doing just fine. They could have taken observatory at the end in the last episode anytime they fucking wanted. There's no reason why they didn't if they knew who Maltese was and where she was this entire time. I just stuff like that. You know, I heard mixed things once you get past episode 4. If it either saved the show for people or it ruined the show for people, and I think I fall into the ruin because everything, every reveal, payoff, anything like that, it either didn't pay off or I just wasn't that interested in the reveal. Like the reveal about what Vault 31 really was, it's like, okay, so you have bosses. It's revealed you're gonna have managers, and they've been grooming you to take over, not take over, but repopulate the world and be their little worker drones. Like, well, you already knew you were gonna be the ones to repopulate the world. You just didn't know that they were the ones that were nuking the world to make it so you would have to repopulate it. But it's like you hear the people in the flashback scenes with the ghoul's wife about like, oh, hey, let's put noxious gas and stuff in there and let's pit people together like rats and fight with very limited food. It's like you had the good vault. That's why Walton Goggins' wife probably wanted them to all be there, and the family's probably there in the cryogenic tubes. That, and you'll probably discover that the first episode of season 2 or whatever. But it's like, in terms of the experiments going on with vaults, that's nothing. It surely isn't anything for Vault 32 people to go like, we're gonna have bosses. Kill yourself. Like, they're all brainwashed to love Vault Tech. I'm going, Vault Tech employees from in the past are frozen in there, and when we finally take over, they're gonna come back out and reinitiate what the world was like back then. Surely they would all love that and be like, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. You know, freeze them, and they have all the knowledge of all that stuff. We're just repopulating. Like, doesn't seem. It'd be like, I mean, I don't want to. I'm just as much as fuck management as other people, but like, it's not a kill my loved one's children and shove a fork in a toaster thing for me. Like, none of that paid off. It was the more you get to know Maldives, Moldova, Mento, whatever the hell her name was. Of course, she's redeemed, misunderstood, probably a lesbian with Lucy's mom. And I don't care what people say. I don't care if Todd Howard comes out and clarifies. She was definitely a communist. And I'm not about, hey, look, the communist won. Look, she was a good guy. Got her things in the end. Didn't care for that. Didn't care for the line of communism is just a word for people. Just a mean word for people who are smart or whatever. There was a lot of cringe dialogue, a lot of bad decisions, a lot of just shit that didn't make sense. The world seemed teeny tiny. Conveniently run into people. MacGuffins, healing things, anything you need was all on the troop there, on the road next to you. Plenty of them around. It seemed like there was no real... They got scarcity of water pretty damn right. Scarcity of everything else, they didn't. There was no creatures. Power armors had infinite power. Same with the vaults. And I get with the game, you know, you could quick travel, walking across the map didn't take that long, and yeah, you found supplies everywhere. I do like that they kept going into different types of buildings for the different types of supplies, because that makes sense and it kind of game-wise, but it doesn't really work with a TV show. Just randomly going, oh god, I got shot. Well, conveniently, there's a shop over there with a stim pack, and you know, it's like they didn't show how they have to loot this stuff, carry them things around. Maybe like, hey, I don't got enough room in my backpack for some of this shit, toss it out. You could have done other parts of a game mechanic than just the fact that games can be convenient about drops and meeting the NPCs you need to meet. There was no, like, Lucy was just almost on a, you know, just a trap going forward. The entire plan that Moldova had with getting Hank to get a code to activate cold fusion and all that, I think about everything that was talked about in episode 8. Think about back to episode 1, what the Raiders did in Vault 33. You're like, this was a stupid plan. It could have gone very wrong. So you knew the situation the whole time, yet you still like murdered Vault 33 people. We're going to blow up the place, and the bomb that didn't actually work or do anything, so that was pointless. Giving ultimatums of taking Lucy or not, or the people, and none of that shit made any sense. It was just very haphazard. We're just gonna go raid this thing, and if we happen to not kill Hank, great. We can take him. Also, I knew Lucy's mom, and I loved her. And I guess I like Lucy too, but you can kill her anyways. But if she ever comes to the observatory and comes to talk to me, then I might be like, hey, maybe Caden stay here. Look, I'm the good person. Look at how great we're going to give energy to a city that apparently still has a perfectly good circuit electrical system that just needs to get plugged into cold fusion and lights everything up. It's just, you have to turn your brain off for it. You can't think about the show to enjoy it. You have to turn your brain off. Yeah, it can look like Fallout, sound like Fallout with the soundtrack, have some wacky lines and vague satiricalness, but it's not good. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be a satire, but I don't think they did the satire very well. And every time they try to have some sort of real moment, real revelation, like the ghoul going, oh my god, wife's gonna drop a bomb, or oh, Lucy's going to shoot her ghoul mom, put her out of her misery, and her dad's betrayed everything she knows, all that. You're just sitting here like, I don't care, because it always gets undercut with a dumb joke, where the entire show was just everything's fine, smiley Pip-Boy comedy the entire way through. And with Fallout, you can play the game silly, you can play the game straight. Dialogue has some satirical stuff on both sides, and this show was just, okay, we're going vague, we're going mostly comedy way, and we're pretty much just saying fuck capitalism. It didn't feel very double-sided. It felt very one-sided. It'd be like, we're gonna drop the bomb on everybody. They're like, oh shit. I mean, I understand, but that's the evil thing to do. And then they go, and that's how we're going to win capitalism. And you're like, what the fuck? Why did you throw that in there? Capitalism needs customers to function. You can't just experiment with death. What? Why did you say the phrase, and then we'll win capitalism? That's so dumb. That's so dumb. And the evil mastermind dude that turned into a brain, just being smiley, jokey the entire time. It's just tonally just messed up. There was DEI stuff everywhere. Amazon's like required to do it. Every time you see the Maximus's friend and Maximus's terrible acting abilities and some other characters around, like diverse Mentos lady being misunderstood, communist is a great villain. Turns out straight white male dad's evil businessman. It's all there. And you can't help but just think that it was put there for a reason and not for the good of the show or good for the story. Even if they didn't do explicit message driving and monologuing, thank God they didn't. But you still see that, and you just go, it just feels like it was there for a reason, and sometimes just take you out of it. But it really is. Like I had a whole thing in my head. This is why I script things out, because now I'm struggling to remember a bunch of things that I wanted to say, but there really is just a lot of dumb in this show. Terrible decisions. The Ghoul's a great character. Well, the Ghoul's a good character. Walton Goggins is a great actor. And if it was just Fallout the Ghoul, I'd think I'd watch it. But I can't suffer through more Maximus. And Lucy started off interesting to just okay. I mean, she's what she needs to be for the scene. She'll either be naive or she'll be smart. She'll just trust anything anyone tells her. And that's the thing. In this world, she was never really lied to, except by her dad. Or I guess the truth was, I guess by the dad. Everybody was relatively helpful. Maybe through a couple insults. But she didn't try to get murdered. She didn't try to get her stuff stolen. except on the bridge. Like, she met so many people, and they just let her go. And it's like, yeah, you were safe in the towns in the game, but when you were out in the wilderness, it was fend for yourselves by the people, monsters, raiders, whatever. I felt like they could have done more to that. This was just, she walked, she had a pretty safe journey all the way from the vault to Philly to the observatory. Why Guy had to go to Philly to meet with someone who was hired by someone else who was hired by Mentos to then take him to the observatory when she did the entire trek herself with a gang of raider ghouls. I don't know. Again, doesn't make sense. The ghoul, Walton Goggins, apparently knows how to take people down in power armor with one shot. Yet he could not take Maximus down except for when his foot got stuck, and then so he had the opportunity to go and cut his hose thing or whatever. It's like, so the ghoul could have killed Maximus anytime. He was just either toying with him because he was bored of killing after killing an entire town, or, plot armor kicked in. It's really not as clever as it thinks it is, and I don't care a lot about the lore breaking stuff. The only one that kind of pisses me off is the fact that fusion cores apparently just last forever now instead of the 5 minutes in the power armor. But the Fallout New Vegas things, I know they're trying to clarify and say no, that's not decanonized, and other people go, no, clear it is, because it's year stuff. That's way over my head. And doesn't seem like the biggest I don't want to say biggest retcon. It actually would be pretty significant. But if they just change dates around, maybe not as bad, but whatever. That stuff I'm not as pissed off about or peeved about. It's just the terrible writing, the cringe dialogue, the no consequences for actions for anybody. The only consequence for Lucy's actions were that now the ghoul kind of likes her because she saved her at the quick start mop thing with the Matt Berry robot and all the other ghouls. Other than that, I didn't like Maximus, didn't like Esquire. Lucy became just okay. I laughed a couple times at the comedy. Best joke was definitely that guy was fucking my chickens. But I wanted them to keep a more consistent tone than what I got. Because the serious stuff just didn't hit. And satire is hard to do, and I don't think they nailed it. I think they went very one-sided with the satire. I think they went a little too over the top with it. Because you need to be able to see some groundedness to it. Or at least in the Fallout way, be like, look, going too far in the capitalism's bad, doing too far in the communism's bad. And they just would not. It was just all like, look, Hollywood's sponsored by Nuka-Cola. Matt Berry did a speech about how he's a commodity now. Corporations, not Hollywood. All that shit. It's like, okay, I get it. That is Fallout. Vault-Tec, not great. But you need to be able to do both sides. The war started by China. And then the American, the world building was just terrible. If you didn't play the game, you wouldn't have no idea what the fuck's going on. Even barely have played the game, I don't know what the fuck was going on, really. And the show did not help. If you were a complete normie, just going, I'm going to check this thing out because people are saying it's good, never played the games, you're going to sit here going, who the fuck are these characters? They're just getting tossed along and surviving when they shouldn't be surviving. And and just not understanding what this world is. They've got a lot to do in season 2 to make up for season 1, and I just do not think they have the ability to do it with the quality shit that I've seen so far. So no, I'm not excited for season 2. If I wasn't for trying to get this YouTube channel off to review it, I don't think I had actually review season 2. Oh, the one more thing that bugged me. inconsistency of the power armor. You know, I understand the hand grips would be different, holding up things different, but the fact that they show how powerful the power armor can be by throwing stones and breaking buildings and stuff, and then ghouls getting punched, Maximus getting smacked in the face by Hank, which I laughed my ass off watching. The ghoul should have exploded into bits, and Maximus should not have a head anymore. Because that's power armor. Showed how powerful it was. It's just, but plot armor. There's plot armor everywhere. And just terrible, terrible choices. Well, that's to my 2 cents without getting into without, scripting, pulling out straight good examples and clips, and just me staring vaguely into a corner and not directly at my camera because I'm not good at this yet. But let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you liked the show, great. I hope you like it. Man, the ghoul is awesome. I like them. I'm happy you like the whole show. Enjoy season 2. Check out my review of season 2 when season 2 comes out. Meantime, maybe check out my Rebel Moon review. That was hot garbage. God, Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder needs to stop. But yeah, I guess that's it. I know it wasn't too in-depth breakdown, probably things you haven't heard from other reviews before, but hopefully you got something from it, and you can like and subscribe and help me grow this channel a little bit. And I'll see you next time in either one of our Let's Plays or the more in-depth scripted reviews. Bye.